How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Trailmakers Creations. First things first, I want to say thanks to all you awesome viewers. Finally hitting 3,000 subscribers. That's so cool. So, first thing we're going to take a look at is this here strange looking unit. This is called the water wheel. This is a boat sub hover thingy. It's not, I wouldn't call it a sub. It can go underwater. You won't get kicked out of the sea because it's got the diving bell, but it doesn't stay underwater. As you can see, it's just sitting here doing nothing. It's got all these pontoons on all sides. It's got a row of gimbal jets in the middle there, as well as all of these altitude sensors. As you can see, 2 rows of altitude sensors there. And when we transform into wheel mode, those altitude sensors are what trigger the gimbal jets at certain elevations above the water. So, we can jump in. It's got some bunch of mini jets on there. So when it's in this mode, it can actually fly straight. Not fly, but kind of hover, kind of straight. You'll see it goes into the water, and then it'll pop up and right above the surface, which just kind of hovers above the surface like this, programmed to do that with the altitude sensors and the gimbal jets. Some pull down, some pull up. So we can hit space bar, and that uses our rows of mini jets that are in there. We also have a little bit of seat control. Steering is opposite, of course, because all the thrusters are on the bottom. They actually end up on the sides when it's expanded out. You can see it's kind of flipping around. So you can hold A and D down together, and that gives you more lift, all the mini jets on the bottom. And you can also hold the space bar down, which just pushes you forward, and then hold S to keep the nose up somewhat. So you can kind of cruise along like this at like 110 kilometers an hour. But this is more designed for, and again, it's kind of weird because, again, it's backwards. So going backwards like this, say we want to slow our roll and then hit number 1. It stretches out and transforms into a circle. Holding the space bar again, and we have a water wheel. So again, not the greatest steering. It steers best when the bottom half of the wheel is actually in the water. You can just tap to the left, and our thrusters will push us to the left, or you can tap to the right and it'll turn to the right slowly. Works best when the bottom half of the wheel is in the water, so that just the top half is turning, or else the whole thing flops over sideways. So as you can see, it's made out of pistons that extend, and everything all comes together nice and snug. And then when we hit number 1 to expand it, everything opens up and then curves around, so we get a complete circle. And again, it's just weird that now the thrusters are facing the opposite direction than the seat, so it ends up going backwards. Sometimes it will flop over on its side if it comes up out of the water. You can try steering this way and it'll actually pull it right out of the water. And then trying to get it level again is always fun. I usually just try and straighten it out by going back into straight mode, and then go back into wheel mode, let it get into the water a bit, and away you go. So that was a fun build. That was fun to attempt to try and get something like this to stay on the water and to roll like this in the water. If it was actually on the surface of the water, it would be spinning too fast. You wouldn't get any traction anyways. So at least in the water like this, we have, and again, there's many thrusters all lining around the whole thing too, so. But they don't work in the water, so it only gives us the propulsion and the thrust above the water in the direction that we want. So it actually works. So that'll be up on the shop as well, as of the time this video comes out. Alright, let's head up there onto the carrier and see what we got for you next. So our next build here, this is the drunken robot, the drunk robot. Now, I call him the drunk robot because he doesn't have any programming in his hinges. It's a bipedal walker. Doesn't have any programming in the hinges. Everything on this thing is triggered by sensors. So there's sensors on the front here, there's sensors on his shoulders, there's sensors on his hips that actually extend these pistons. There's one on either side. And there's sensors all underneath his feet, on the tips of his toes, on his heels, and they all actuate the different hinges so that when he tries to walk, he doesn't walk too well. He'll actually, if he leans forward, he'll catch himself. If he leans back, he'll catch himself. And it's fun to just watch him try and stabilize himself. There's no actual controls for this. It's fully automatic. And he's got some thrusters on there as well to try and keep him upright. And he does try and walk, but as you can see, when we spawn him in, he's not real good at it. That's why I called him a drunk robot, because he looks like he's just been in the ethanol a little too much. So let's spawn him in and have a look-see. So as you can see, he tries to walk. Again, no programming in the hinges, and then yeah, if he starts falling backwards or forwards, oh, see, yeah, catch yourself there, buddy. Yeah, see, it looks like he's been in the juice, eh? It's just kind of like, oh, keep your balance. Oh, don't fall over. It's funny too, if he falls backwards, he reaches back to try and prevent himself from falling as well. But yeah, bipedal walker with no programming. Like, even those legs are set to different heights, the sensors, so when one sensor sees it, it just lifts that one leg, and then the other sensor turns off, so it compresses the piston again. So yeah, as you can see, if he falls backwards, he catches himself. If he falls forward, he tries to catch himself. So it was a really good experiment in trying to keep it balanced himself, just using sensors, just using the range on those sensors. Seeing as how we only have a close range on them, might as well use them for something handy like this. Oh, don't fall over, buddy. Don't fall over. Every now and then he'll, catch yourself. I like the way his head pops out like that too, to change his center of gravity. The way he leans back. Oh, feet up in the air. Oh, face plant. Yeah, he can be quite, he broke his arm. He can be quite entertaining to watch. And then you try and activate some of the sensors. So let's see, the sensors on his feet. It's like, hey man, tickle, tickle. Tickle, tickle. Oh, this one, tickle, tickle. Hey, come on. Come on. Can you get up? Can you get up? Respawn. So he will be uploaded to the shop as well. That is the drunk robot. That is really fun to try and build something that walks only using sensors. Oh, down he goes. He's going to start breakdancing. There you go. Bust a move, buddy. And look at that. Look at that, eh? Pretty good balance. It's like a gymnast. Alright, let's head over to land and see what else we got for you. Squirrel! So now if I were to ask you what this looks like to you, what kind of animal does this look like? It's got a long bushy tail. Little head, little ears. Probably doesn't look like it as much as it does when it's moving. What kind of animal do you think that is? It's a squirrel! His tail's not quite as fluffy as I'd like it to be, but he has a very squirrely action, very squirrely motion. And he works really well, completely bionic. As you can see, he does a little over 25 kilometers an hour, maximum speed. He's got suspension for feet, of course, just using servos. The indestructible seat in the middle there for the body. The tail hinges are again all set to 1 for strength, so they flop along quite naturally. He does have some steering, turning left and right. And he actually has pretty good traction on the ground, like his range of motion is pretty good with his feet, that he can go somewhat uphill. Kind of looks like a squirrel. If he was moving like 3 times as fast, it would look like a squirrel. I did try putting gimbal jets on him and little mini jets to try making him a flying squirrel, but that wasn't too conducive for control. So he is a squirrel. I've been trying to build something that moves like this for a long time. And you can see why squirrel... Oh, going down, going down. There you go, there you go. You can do it, you can do it. Maybe you can't do it, maybe you can't do it. So yeah, I've been trying to build something that moves like this for a while, and finally realized that a squirrel's body actually isn't flat when he's sitting still. It's all balled up in his back. So he's like a spring that's already has tension in it. So that's the way I started with the body here. As you can see, the hinges that are on the inside, and then down to those hinges on the bottom where his hips are. And then he actually springs forward from there, and then it was just a matter of getting the timing on the front half so that his feet come down when just after the back legs push him forward, so that he always lands on his feet, and trying to keep him nice and close to the ground like that, like a squirrel. Kind of an undulating motion. So he was fun to build too. Like I said, I've been trying to work on a squirrel for a long time, and finally got one on this guy here to actually move the way I wanted him to move. So he is just Squirrel on the shop. That's all he's titled. And he will be uploaded as of the end of this video as well. So that's all I've got for you in this video, guys. Again, special thanks to all you new subscribers and all you subscribers that have been with me since the beginning. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Don't forget to hit that like button. Leave a comment. Love hearing your comments. And we will see you guys in the next one. Ciao.